just like you see, I was seeking so much truth when I was an IIT. What is the absolute truth? What could be the cause of all causes? I was always exploring what is the cause of all causes, because basically I was a science student, and I really fascinated with the method of inquiry about the world around us by science, because really science started as philosophy in the early days. So those principles of rational thinking, scientific, evidence-based thinking. So I was very excited about, finding the cause of all causes. And that is how, at one point of time, I was having full faith that physics will reveal that everything, what is the cause of all causes. Of course, just immature and young person seeking, on my own speculation. Because we think, what is God? And, what is all this universe? You ask this question. So I used to ask this question, and then I thought the closest was this scientific thinking. They are always going, okay, now atom, inside atom what, inside that what, inside that what is the final cause? That excited me. Theoretical physics. Finally, at one point of time, I came to the conclusion that the very definition of modern science itself is that they don't want to touch mind, they don't want to touch intelligence, they don't want to touch these things. They have no explanation of these things also. They say that we will study only what our five indriyas will see. That's all. Objective world. So that I thought was very limiting. Then that's how I went into philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So different kinds of philosophy of, what's the absolute truth and all this. So none of those things really satisfied me, in the sense that this Mayavadism also I did go through it. That is why today I am strong like this. I went through it, and in those days I met some Mayavadi gurus. In the sense, I put this question to them. I can't understand that if I am God, if I am everything, how Maya is more powerful than me, because they have the philosophy of Maya, more powerful than me. Why I am suffering in this material world? Why I have fallen and why I am suffering in this material world? I should not be, because I am God. Then there is no answer. They simply give an example of snake and a rope. The famous example they used to say, okay, so this material world is looking like a snake, but it is actually a rope. But actually nothing exists. It's all illusion. Seeing is illusion. Everything is illusion. When you realize that, then that is Nirguna Brahman. So this cannot be explained. I cannot give an answer to you in our language. You simply have to become that Nirguna Brahman and realize. So I was not happy with that. And then that is when I came across. Now the reason, in spite of so much of speculation, in so much of thinking about, what could be God, what could be God, what could be God, hours together, days together, I used to think. But still, at no point that day, even my speculation, I didn't even put a proposal that God could be a person. I had gone up to the point that God is some intelligence, some Shakti, intelligence. But never thought that God is a person. Why? Because there is a reason why many people also don't accept God as a person. Because they see person means limited. Within their experience, they only know about limited persons. Limited identity, limited body is limiting. They are thinking, how can a person be God? God means he cannot be limited. And that is when mercy of Srila Prabhupada, when I read Prabhupada's, first time I touched Prabhupada's books. In fact, when I just, joined IIT, at that time itself my inquiry was going on. So IIT library used to have a long, full 2 sides books on full bay of both sides philosophy books. So just to check out, I went first time after joining IIT, and then I walked along the aisles and all those. Then I saw these beautiful books, Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. And then I pulled out one book, because they're so attractive, they stand out, beautiful covers. So I took out one, and then I saw, Vishnu is on Garuda, sitting on Garuda. And so I immediately in my mind told, this is all stories. This is not about absolute truth. It's all stories. Storybooks, put it back there. But then, after 3 years after that, every time I used to walk in that aisle, I never touched Prabhupada book, but I picked most of those, philosophy, and read it. And then finally I had no answer for anything. And one day, I was practically, got into a kind of an existential frustration. There is no meaning in life. What is the use? Who am I? Look at the number of stars on the sky. Whether I live or die, what difference does it make? There's no meaning at all to this existence. That kind of frustration had come. And then that day I had, there was a weekly test. And then that test paper I wrote, that you will see me, jumping off the main building, committing suicide. I like that. I wrote that message also there. Morning test paper I handed over. Then there was, along with me, there was another friend called Vijay Govind, who was also he was with me in the search for truth. So then both decided we'll jump off the main building tomorrow. Forget it. So then, having decided that, I felt highly relieved, because so many years I was going on searching, what is God, or what is. But never thought God is a person. What is the truth? What is the absolute truth? Like a scientist. And then went, and that day also, as usual, went in the evening, and I sat there. I walked along the aisle. Then I had no desire. I had given up search for truth. Forget it. Both sides, simply like a conditionally, I was walking along this way, that way. And finally, when I came to Prabhupada's books, then I said, okay, let me read some stories today. Forget all this truth Vishaya, truth subject, and all, leave it. Nobody knows the truth. There's no meaning at all to existence. So then I picked up storybook. There was normal Bhagavatam set was there, and Prabhupada's other Krishna book were 3 Krishna books, big books, like a children's story book it is. The original print of Krishna book. So I took that big hardbound Krishna book, simply went and sat in the same place where Prabhupada, where I used to sit and read every evening. Then I opened on Prabhupada's one page, and then I saw this Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Then I read 2 pages, 1 page, 2 page. I was shocked. I said, even in my mind, I didn't think of a person with unlimited capacity, a person who is unlimited senses, a person who has got unlimited energies, unlimited ownership, unlimited Bhagavan, all those things, all that things came in those 2 pages. I immediately knew this person who is speaking, that he knows what the Param Satya, what is the absolute truth. And then immediately that I had tears in my eyes. I said, there's a meaning in my life now. There is a meaning in my life. I want to find out who is Krishna. I want to learn who is Krishna. Who is his absolute God? Scientists did not know. Though so many philosophers did not know. Now here somebody is speaking that God is a person, and he is describing what kind of a person he is. So most of the people in the material world, they cannot accept person as a God, because they don't first of all understand that there is another category of person called Vishnu Tattva, who is an infinite person. My thinking, feeling, willing is limited, but God's thinking, feeling is unlimited. There is a category of Satya, truth, of that type, and that is God Tattva.